On FBI 94.5, that was Cops and Robbers by Underscore, the opening track to her brand new, critically acclaimed album that dropped last month titled Wall Socket. It's an ambitious, highly original project, one of the most arguably important releases to come out of this post hyperpop era. I'm lucky enough to be joined by Underscores, aka April Harper Gray, in the studio via Zoom right now. April, hi. Thanks for being here.
Let's go. Thanks for having me. Thanks for support. I've seen that you've played a lot of the album songs, which was really sick. So thanks for
Yeah.
the support.
No, we're big fans here at FBI. We think it rocks. So, this new album, Wall Socket, it's based on stories from like a fictional town in Missouri in the US. As part of its release, you built like an ARG, like an alternate reality game, which sort of embeds aspects of fiction into real world locations, like online and IRL. So, for example, I know you built like three different websites that were like fleshing out the community of the town of Woolsocket. There's like the Woolsocket Town Hall Archives, the Woolsocket Mums Forum, and the Woolsocket Pizza Restaurant. Exploring these sites, I was doing a bit of research, and the vibe is basically Woolsocket is like a thriving like horse breeding town that gets crushed by industrialization but is now like on the bounce back because of like white collar businesses and like population surge. Tell me about it. Like, this is an insane concept for an album. Why did you construct this town specifically?
It's it's a real town and it's in Michigan. It's a real town in Michigan. That all sounds really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I was looking around on Google Maps and I was playing with a lot of these sort of ideas of like upper middle class in America, especially like the kind of architecture that comes out of that. And I just kind of found that there was like, oh, this town felt such like emblematic of all of the different themes I was trying to pick up on. So I I don't know, it kind of just clicked and then I was like, okay, I guess we can take sort of things I wanted to talk about and funnel them through these like fictional characters and stuff that I imagine are sort of like living in the town and such.
I know it's the first album you've released on like a bigger label, specifically Mum and Pop Music. Shout out the several Australians on that roster, including like Courtney Barnett, Tash Sultana. Was
Let's
this,
go.
yeah, was the choice to like sign to a bigger label specific to this album or something you just kind of felt like was the right time in your career to do?
For sure. I think like I for this album I wanted to be really ambitious in like the scope of everything and kind of the resources that I could have for like the videos. I really wanted to step the visuals up and try and be more of like a visual artist. So I think so, like signing to Mom and Pop, I don't know, when I had the offer, it just felt like it was, yeah, definitely like a point in my career when I was like, okay, like might as well just go as far into it as I possibly can. They've been great to me. They let me do some silly things, so really appreciate them.
Speaking of like visual elements of the album, I saw on your Instagram you posted a story a couple weeks ago looking at like the visual shape of the track list for Wall Socket. Created by like I guess the start and ending of each track title, like the outline of how it sits in like a paragraph. To me that was like a really interesting way of thinking about like track list order and like particularly in this era of streaming and playlisting where the album as a form is definitely like it's taken on a different maybe a reduced significance. I was hoping you could tell me more about your decisions behind the track list. Was this like a project planned as an album from the beginning? Like,
Yeah, it was definitely, I always wanted to be an album. I think so I put out this album called Fishmonger a couple of years ago, and I think like it kind of changed my life and stuff. And I kind of realized like, oh, I could maybe try and be like an album artist and like have the releases and stuff like that like whatever I put out hinge around like the release of an album, which I thought was really cool. I think there's a lot of amazing things you can do with the medium of an album. And I think, yeah, for the track lists, like I was sort of in this mindset and still kind of am where like everything can be like art or an extension of the art or its own art. So like the way you stylize a title, whether it's like sort of regular or lowercase or like I think they call it sentence case. I think that's what I've been doing, where it's just the first letters capitalized. Like I took that into account a lot because I like being able to zoom out on the whole thing and then be like, oh, like these titles feel good, this track list feels good. So that's why there's a lot of kind of weird off-kilter titles on the project, and like that's why Duh has like 17 H's or something. Is because like it looks kind of weird, sort of when it was that kind of compact compared to the super long titles that kind of sandwich it. So yeah, I spent a lot of time just trying to make the track list look like it was its own sort of art piece or painting or something, even though like some of the names are just ridiculous. But yeah.
That's sick. That's so wonderful. I really feel that like yeah, strong, cohesive vibe throughout the whole album. I want to turn to the album cover. It's a picture of a giant horseshoe, which, as well as being like a reference to the history and aesthetic of the very real town that is Woolsocket. You've said it's also a relation or like a reference to Horseshoe Theory.
For sure. I think the like political usage of it is like pretty stupid. I think it's been kind of like disproven time and time again. But I think like the shape itself of a horseshoe, I think is like really interesting. There's like one my friend Jesse sent to me recently that was like the horseshoe theory of loving and hating. On one side it was like everything sucks, and one side it was like everything's great, and then in the middle it's just like everything's fine, like everything's okay or whatever. But like everything sucks and everything's great are right next to each other. Like it
Mm-hmm.
takes just like one like flip and stuff like that.
I've seen like horseshoe theory of chair design, like horseshoe theory of like
Exactly.
energy drinks, like it yeah.
Exactly. Writing the project, I was just like thinking about a lot of things like with that kind of thing, like just being like, oh yeah, it like wraps back around to the other side and stuff. You know, like the old money bitch character, like you get so rich that you start dressing kind of poor or something. You know what I mean? Like that's an example. I don't know. There were just a lot of things that I was thinking about with that kind of like shape in mind. And yeah, like the fact that the town had this like 10-foot structure of a giant horseshoe outside of it, I thought was like kind of serendipitous. But yeah.
We're gonna go to a song off the album now. This is one we've had on rotation for a couple weeks at FBI. It's called Shoot to Kill, Kill Your Darlings. Can you tell us a little bit about the narrative in this track?
Yo, that's so crazy. This is like one of the songs that like this is one of the like less popular ones off the album, so I appreciate you playing it out. Um, yeah, I guess Shoot to Kill is about one of the sort of main characters in the story of the album, sort of reckoning with her friend's potential death, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, it's sort of meant to be sort of a calmer kind of like you could sit in it and you can like think and stuff. It's nothing too like in your face, just kind of like a bunch of thoughts about the same thing, just kind of compiled on top of each other. But yeah.
When I was in school, I stayed away from the war prudes. My boy said, if he's got a favorite war, the kid has gotta be bad news. And then in early July, I took a trip to the gun range. Yeah, I hit the paper man right in the eye. I can't say I don't get the hype, but I guess I don't understand this feeling. Is it eating you up inside? Are you dying to kill a man? Is it gonna keep you alive? kid is with the cheerleading captain. And we can't figure out how the relationship happened. He doesn't seem to like what she chooses to do with her body. But he's giving over his body as well. You think you get it more than anyone else. I guess I don't understand this feeling. Is it eating you up inside? Is it really your only option? There's always gonna be a fire to fight. You're the son of a lawyer and the son of a doctor. With dreams of holding a gun and jumping out of a chopper. And everybody here is a poor kid right out of high school. But you're different from the rest of your peers. Hell, you're the only one who knows why they're here. I guess I don't understand this feeling. Is it eating you up inside? So just a little kid, you shouldn't have to choose how you die. Some other life you're living in your 90s. You got a couple of kids and your wife doesn't like me. And you turn on the news and see the cycle repeating. But you're safe in the walls of your house. Aren't you happy that you never went out? I guess I don't understand this feeling. But I pray that your thoughts and minds when you step in a foreign land. And I just don't want you to die.
You're tuned into Lunch with Giana Festa here on FBI Radio. I'm currently chatting with April Harper Gray, aka Underscores, all about the mythos and meaning behind her latest record, Wall Socket. April, I want to step back, I guess, from the world of Wall Socket and look more at like your process behind making this album. It seems to be like a very much a conceptual album, but also in a way like quite a personal album. You know, your social media bios describe yourself as a normal girl of American circumstance, and I feel like that really like echoes some of the ideas that are tossed around in Wall Socket. How much of like you is in this album?
Like I'd say like 80% of it. Maybe like I think I wanted it to be a personal album first and then kind of like a lore driven thing second. So a lot of it's just like thoughts I was thinking at the time, things I wanted to like squash or deal with or reckon with. And usually music's like a really good way for me to do that and just sort of have this kind of like arena where I can just kind of like dump a bunch of things and then see if I can get to a conclusion for myself. I think it was important for it to be a very personal album still, but there are, you know, certain lines and stuff that like Cops and Robbers, for example, is like I didn't rob that bank.
Wait, you haven't done
Like
that?
oh sorry. Oh no. I've been working yeah, sorry. I've been working as a bank teller since I was 12 years old. So yeah, there's some stuff that's like yeah, some stuff is obviously to be taken not seriously.
There's three features on the album. We got Gabby Star, Hen House, and Jane Remover. Side note, I know your song with Gabby Star, Locals Girls Like Us, just hit 1 million streams today, so
Yeah,
congrats.
let's
Yeah, that's
go. Thank
amazing.
you.
What was it like working with each of these artists, and were they specific choices for Wall Socket?
There were definitely, I think when it came to the subject matter of the song, I think it was really important. Like Hen House, for example, fits into this very specific Venn diagram that I'm talking about in that song. And like I wanted to reckon with those concepts with them. Um, so that's why I chose Hen House particularly. And they're also just a really good friend of mine. And then Jane, I think has, especially like after Frailty, I think has leaned into a lot of body horror kind of lyrics and imagery in her music. And I've always wanted to work with her and had never gotten the chance before. So I felt like doing the song together, that was the most kind of body horror of them all maybe on the album. I think just felt like a no-brainer to me. And then
Totally. Like,
Gabby, I've worked on a song with Gabby for like every project, so I just wanted to continue the tradition.
oh, hell
But
yeah.
yeah.
That's so sweet. Like, yeah, it makes sense, especially the Jane Remover, like Uncanny Long Arms. It's the name of the track with Jane Remover on it, and yeah, there's a couple of body horror tracks on the album, but that is
Yeah, there's a
definitely
couple for
yeah.
sure. There's like yeah.
Okay, so your sound, like as your like artistic career underscores has progressed, has sort of varied and developed over the years, but like it's always been like characteristically heterogeneous in the sense that it's like a mixed bag. It defies like conventional genre definition usually, like lots of different elements put together in like a really unique way. Your past albums, specifically Fishmonger, were labeled under like I guess like hyperpop, and I know you've been involved in that community, like got the Eleanor Fortune's hat, like DJing with Umru, like
Let's
it's
fucking go.
yeah,
Okay, hell
the hyperpop
yeah.
community is there. Do you like yeah, do you consider yourself like a hyperpop artist still?
Um, I mean, like I think hyperpop was more of like a community, I think. And I think there was a moment where hyperpop was taking off and then other people started hopping on. And I think that's when it got like, I don't know, that's when like a line started to be drawn or something. And I'm not fully sure. Like I was sort of lumped into it. So I guess I was a part of that like first group. But I feel like I see it as like a really amazing community of really talented people and everyone's sort of doing a diaspora right now, I think,
Mm,
in a
mm.
different sort of genres and sonics. But I think the mentality of making music that's, challenging and new and like of the era that it's in, I think is still there with all of the artists that were a part of it. I don't know sonically what hyperpop sounds like too much. I think the group is really like all of those artists are doing amazing, and everybody should be keeping an eye out on what those artists do, I think.
The
But yeah.
post hyperpop era is like hitting. Like no more hyperpop
Yeah.
snare, just like
Yeah,
folktronica or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Like
We're done with the clank snare. We're done.
right at the end of the second last song on the album, Uncanny Long Arms with Jane Remover, there's this really beautiful build with like vocals, piano, and then like a sharp cut into like a short final like punk verse. The lyrics from that verse are taken straight from a song on your 2021 album Fishmonger, specifically the track Kinko's Field Trip 2006. For me, like as a fan, like listening to that was like a real surprise. I was like grinning. I was like, "Oh my god, like throwback." Can you tell me what the idea behind that was? Like why you included
Yeah,
it?
for sure. Kinko's originally started as this demo called In-Laws, which was essentially what the end of Uncanny Long Arms is. Like it was that slow, it was in that key, and it was like super kind of rocky. And then yeah, after that I had moved it up a few keys or something, and then made it a little more, I guess, a little more light-hearted sounding or something. But the original demo is essentially, I realized as I was making Uncanny Long Arms that the original demo for Kinko's was in the same tempo and the same key. So it was just like, oh, well, like the lyrics in this verse already kind of pertain to the epiphany that the main character is having. So I don't know. I was just like, okay, I'll put this in. People will be like, yo.
Yeah, yeah. People were like, yo, like it rocks. It's really great.
Sausage chest. How did you get everyone to think that you were impressed? Tell me if it's not on purpose, why'd you do it again? Just admit it, you don't have a world that you're up against
Anymore? Hey, I think I'm falling. Good luck.
Several hidden sausages. How did you get everyone to think that you were impressed? Tell me if it's not on purpose, why'd you do it again? Just admit it, you don't have a world that you're up against.
That's about all we got time for, but April, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. This was super fun.
I'm glad.
Again, thank you so much for playing out the album so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're big fans. Like, it's amazing. I've got to ask, any chance you'll be coming to So Called Australia anytime soon?
There was an opportunity to do so next month, and it kind of fell through. But next year for sure. I've been seeing a lot of love from Australia, so I need to get over there.
Yeah. There's I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video of it was in February this year. People leaving the 100 Gex concert in Sydney.
Yeah,
here.
I saw that.
Yeah. And someone's
that was
like,
crazy. I was
get
like,
underscores.
that was insane. Yeah.
That was really funny. That was sick.
I gotta do that person right.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, well, let's go into the track we've been talking so much about. This is Underscores from her brand new album, Wall Socket, Uncanny Long Arms with Jane Remover. You're on FBI.
I had this crazy dream that I got my head stuck at the top of the stairs. I swear I could have put myself to sleep had I not been calling for help. And in the morning I saw myself in the mirror, and my hands were in a different place than where they started. I can't touch my toes without bending over. What is happening to me? What is happening to me? What is happening to me?
just a couple seconds of breathing in out. I was slaves on from nerves and fall toward the ground. Once I peace and quiet. No, I can't turn the damn thing off. I don't wanna die yet. I haven't finished what I'm working. Good luck. Several hidden shots to the chest. How did you get everywhere?